She collapsed on divorce day. A billionaire rushed her to hospital and claimed her as his wife. Picture this. You're standing in a courthouse hallway, divorce papers finally signed after 3 years of hell, when suddenly your vision blurs and the floor rushes up to meet you. You wake up in a hospital room, and a man you've never seen before is holding your hand, telling the doctors he's your husband. But here's the twist, he's not crazy. He's a billionaire. And he just saved your life. If you're new here, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. And please stay until the end because this story is going to blow your mind. To my returning viewers, thank you for being here. You're the real ones. Now let's get into this incredible story. Lisa Patricia Hahn had exactly $47 in her checking account when she walked out of the Charleston County Courthouse on that humid September morning. 34 years old. Divorced. Broke. Standing on the courthouse steps in a dress she'd borrowed from her best friend Camille because her ex-husband had maxed out her credit cards before the separation. The irony wasn't lost on her. She'd spent her entire 20s building a catering business from nothing, turned it profitable, then married David Hahn at 29. By 31, he'd convinced her to make him a partner. By 33, he'd run the business into the ground, cheated with their accountant, and filed for divorce, claiming SHE was the problem. The judge had split their debts 50-50 this morning. Lisa got half of nothing and all of the blame. Her hands shook as she walked down the courthouse steps. Not from sadness. From rage. From exhaustion. From the splitting headache that had been building behind her eyes for the past week. Lisa! Camille rushed toward her, designer sunglasses perched on her head. How'd it go? Please tell me you took him for everything. Lisa laughed, but it came out bitter. Everything is nothing when there's nothing left to take. That bastard. I swear to God, if I see him, don't. Lisa pressed her fingers to her temples. The sunlight felt like knives. It's done. I just want to go home, take a shower, and figure out how to rebuild my entire life with $47 and a culinary degree. Camille linked her arm through Lisa's. First, we're getting breakfast. My treat. Then we're going to. The world tilted. Lisa's vision went spotty, like someone had punched static into her eyeballs. Her knees buckled. She heard Camille scream her name, but it sounded underwater, distant, wrong. Then nothing. Have you ever fainted in public? Drop a comment and tell me about it. And stick around because what happens next is insane. Lisa woke to the sound of machines beeping and the smell of antiseptic. Hospital. Her mouth tasted like copper and her head felt like it had been stuffed with cotton. She tried to sit up, but a gentle hand pressed her shoulder back down. Easy. Don't move too fast. The voice was male. Deep. Unfamiliar. Lisa's eyes focused slowly. The man sitting beside her hospital bed was not someone you forgot once you'd seen him. Mid-30s, she guessed. Dark hair that looked like he'd run his hands through it a few too many times. Sharp jawline. Eyes the color of smoke, gray with flecks of blue that seemed to shift in the fluorescent lighting. Expensive suit. The kind that cost more than her car. Well, her former car. David had gotten that in the divorce too. Who are you? Lisa's voice came out scratchy. The man smiled, and something about it made her heart do a weird little flip. I'm the guy who caught you when you collapsed on the courthouse steps. Lisa's brain tried to process this. I don't remember. You wouldn't. You were unconscious before you hit the ground. He leaned forward, elbows on his knees. I was leaving a business meeting at the courthouse. Saw you go down. Your friend was screaming. Nobody else was doing anything, so he shrugged like carrying unconscious women to hospitals was just another Tuesday for him. Thank you. Lisa looked around the room. Where's Camille? The woman who was with you. She went to get coffee. Should be back any minute. He paused. The doctors want to run some tests. You hit your head pretty hard when you went down. Lisa closed her eyes. Perfect. Just perfect. I don't have insurance. My ex-husband, she stopped herself. This stranger didn't need her sob story. Already handled. Her eyes snapped open. What? The bills. They're handled. Lisa stared at him. I'm sorry. Who are you exactly? Jose McClendon. He said it like she should recognize the name. She didn't. Jose's mouth quirked up at one corner. You really don't know who I am. Should I? Most people in Charleston do. He sat back in his chair. I own McClendon Industries. Real estate development, mostly. Some tech investments. A few hotels. Oh. Lisa had seen the McClendon name on half the new buildings going up downtown. This man wasn't just wealthy. He was obscenely wealthy. Why would you pay my hospital bills? Lisa asked slowly. Jose was quiet for a moment, studying her face like he was trying to solve a puzzle. Call it instinct. That's not an answer. No, he agreed. It's not. Before Lisa could press him further, Camille burst through the door holding 2 coffee cups, saw Jose, and nearly dropped both of them. Holy shit. You're Jose McClendon. So I've been told. Jose stood, and Lisa realized he was tall. At least 6'2". He moved like someone used to commanding rooms. I'll give you 2 some privacy. Lisa, the doctors should be in soon. He was almost to the door when Lisa called out. Wait. Jose turned. Thank you, Lisa said. For catching me. For bringing me here. For everything. Something flickered in those gray eyes. You're welcome. Then he was gone. Camille immediately rushed to Lisa's bedside. Girl, do you have any idea who that man is? He told me. McClendon Industries. He's worth like $3 billion, Lisa. Billion. With a B. Camille set down the coffee cups and grabbed Lisa's hands. And he was sitting beside your hospital bed like he had nowhere else in the world to be. What happened? What did he say? Lisa's head was spinning, and not just from whatever had made her collapse. He said he caught me when I fell. Paid my hospital bills. He what? I know. Lisa. Camille's eyes went wide. This is fate. This is the universe saying, hey girl, you just got rid of one man, here's a massive upgrade. Camille, stop. He was just being nice. Rich people do charity sometimes. Charity doesn't sit beside your hospital bed and look at you like you're the most interesting thing they've ever seen. Before Lisa could argue, a doctor entered with a tablet and a concerned expression. Ms. Hahn? I'm Dr. Patterson. We've gotten your initial test results back. Lisa's stomach clenched. And Dr. Patterson pulled up a chair. When was the last time you had a full physical? I don't know. Maybe 3 years ago. Have you been experiencing headaches? Fatigue? Dizziness? Lisa thought about the past few months. The migraines she'd blamed on stress. The exhaustion she'd attributed to the divorce. The way she kept getting dizzy when she stood up too fast. Yes, she admitted. But I thought it was just stress from the divorce. Dr. Patterson's expression grew more serious. Ms. Hahn, your blood pressure is dangerously high. Your blood sugar is also concerning. And there are some abnormalities in your blood work that suggest your thyroid might not be functioning properly. The room felt very cold suddenly. What does that mean? Lisa whispered. It means you're not taking care of yourself. Your body is shutting down from stress and neglect. Dr. Patterson's voice softened. The good news is, all of these things are manageable with proper treatment. But Lisa, if you'd gone another few weeks without medical intervention, you could have had a stroke. At 34 years old. Camille grabbed Lisa's hand so hard it hurt. We're going to keep you overnight for observation, Dr. Patterson continued. Run a few more tests. Get you started on medication. And then we need to talk about lifestyle changes. Less stress. Better diet. Actual sleep. Can you do that? Lisa laughed, and it came out slightly hysterical. I just got divorced. I have $47 to my name. I lost my business. I'm living in a studio apartment that smells like old cheese. Less stress sounds great, doctor. Any suggestions on how to actually achieve that? Dr. Patterson squeezed her shoulder. One step at a time. Right now, let's focus on getting you stabilized. The rest will come. After the doctor left, Lisa stared at the ceiling and tried not to cry. She'd spent 3 years of her life married to a man who'd used her, betrayed her, and left her with nothing. She'd poured everything into a business that was now gone. And apparently, her body had been trying to kill her for months, and she'd been too busy surviving to notice. Hey. Camille's voice was gentle. You're going to be okay. How? Lisa's voice cracked. How am I going to be okay, Camille? I can't even afford the medication they're going to prescribe. I definitely can't afford whatever lifestyle changes they're talking about. We'll figure it out. You and me. Like always. But Lisa knew the truth. Camille had her own life, her own problems. Lisa was alone in this. Completely alone. She must have fallen asleep at some point because when she woke, it was dark outside and someone was sitting in the chair beside her bed again. Jose McClendon. You're back, Lisa said, her voice thick with sleep. I am. He was reading something on his phone but put it away when she spoke. How are you feeling? Like I got hit by a truck. How long have you been here? A while. Lisa studied him in the dim light. He'd loosened his tie, rolled up his sleeves. There was something almost vulnerable about him like this, caught between the polished businessman and just a man. Why? Lisa asked. Why what? Why are you here? You don't know me. You don't owe me anything. So why are you sitting in my hospital room in the middle of the night? Jose was quiet for a long moment. When he finally spoke, his voice was low. My wife died in a hospital 3 years ago. Lisa's breath caught. Cancer, Jose continued. She fought for 18 months. I sat in rooms like this and watched her slip away, piece by piece. And when it was over, I swore I'd never set foot in another hospital again. He looked at Lisa. But then I saw you fall today, and something in me just moved. I didn't think. I just acted. I'm sorry, Lisa whispered. About your wife. Her name was Claire. We met in college. Got married at 25. She was 31 when she died. Jose's jaw tightened. She kept saying she was fine. Kept pushing through the symptoms. By the time she finally went to a doctor, it was stage 4. The pieces clicked into place. The doctor said I could have had a stroke if I'd waited much longer. I know. I was outside when he told you. I heard through the door. Jose leaned forward. And I need you to understand something, Lisa. Whatever you're going through, whatever hell your life has been, your body is trying to tell you to stop. To rest. To let someone help you. I don't have anyone to help me. You do now. Lisa blinked. What? Jose stood and walked to the window, his hands in his pockets. I have a proposition for you. A proposition. I own a house on Sullivan's Island. Waterfront property. 6 bedrooms, all of them empty. I've got a housekeeper who comes 3 times a week and cooks meals I don't eat because I'm never home. I've got resources I don't use and money I don't need. He turned to face her. And you need time to heal. Space to breathe. A chance to figure out your next move without worrying about rent or food or medical bills. Lisa's heart was pounding. Are you offering me a job? No. I'm offering you a place to stay. No strings. No expectations. Just a safe space until you're back on your feet. Why would you do that? Jose crossed back to her bedside, and the intensity in his eyes made her forget how to breathe. Because I couldn't save Claire. But maybe I can help you. Would you let a stranger, even a billionaire, help you like this? Tell me in the comments what you would do. And keep watching because this story gets even more complicated. Lisa was discharged the next morning with a prescription for blood pressure medication, thyroid pills, and strict orders to reduce stress. She laughed when the nurse handed her the discharge papers. Reduce stress. Right. She'd just add that to her to-do list, right after rebuild entire life from scratch, and figure out how to afford groceries. Camille was waiting in the lobby, holding Lisa's purse and the borrowed dress she'd been wearing when she collapsed. So, Camille said carefully, did a certain billionaire stop by again last night? Lisa's cheeks heated. Maybe. And nothing. He sat with me for a while. We talked. That's it? You just talked. What were you expecting, Camille? A marriage proposal. The words were barely out of her mouth when Jose McClendon walked through the hospital's automatic doors, looking like he'd stepped out of a magazine. Different suit today. Charcoal gray. Perfectly fitted. Ms. Hahn. He nodded politely. Ms. Baptiste. So he'd remembered Camille's name. Lisa filed that detail away. I hope I'm not overstepping, Jose continued, but I took the liberty of having my assistant pick up your prescriptions this morning. They're waiting in the car. He gestured toward the parking lot where a sleek black Mercedes was idling at the curb. Camille made a sound that was half squeak, half gasp. Lisa found her voice. You didn't have to do that. I know. But those medications aren't cheap, and something tells me you're going to try to choose between pills and rent this month. Jose's expression was unreadable. Consider it my gift to you for letting me help. Why do you keep saying that? Letting you help. Like I'm doing you a favor. Jose smiled, small and sad. Maybe you are. Before Lisa could unpack that statement, Jose's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, frowned, and said, I have a meeting in 20 minutes. But Lisa, I meant what I said last night. The offer stands. My house on Sullivan's Island. It's yours if you want it. I can't just move into a stranger's house. Then get to know me first. Jose pulled a business card from his jacket pocket and pressed it into her hand. Have dinner with me tonight. Let me explain properly. If you still think I'm crazy after that, I'll respect your decision. He was gone before Lisa could argue. Camille grabbed her arm. You're going to that dinner. Camille. No. Stop. Don't give me some speech about pride or independence or not needing help. I've known you since college, Lisa. I watched you build a business from nothing. I watched that asshole David tear you down piece by piece. And I've watched you push yourself to the breaking point trying to prove you're fine when you're clearly not fine. Camille's eyes were fierce. That man, that gorgeous, stupidly wealthy, apparently very kind man, is offering you a lifeline. Take it. You don't think it's weird? A billionaire inviting a broke, recently divorced woman to live in his house. I think it would be weird if he was asking for anything in return. But he's not. He's offering you space to heal. That's it. Camille softened. Look, I get it. Trust is hard, especially after David. But Lisa, your body is literally trying to shut down. You heard Dr. Patterson. You need rest. You need to reduce stress. How are you going to do that in your current situation? Lisa didn't have an answer. That evening, Lisa stood in front of her tiny bathroom mirror, trying to decide if the simple black dress she'd found at a thrift store last year looked dinner with a billionaire appropriate or just sad and trying too hard. It didn't matter. It was all she had. She'd pulled her natural curls into a low bun, applied the bare minimum of makeup, and was now staring at her reflection like it might provide answers. Her phone buzzed. Jose McClendon, a car will pick you up at 7. I hope you like seafood. Lisa's fingers hovered over the keyboard. She could still back out. could still tell him this was too weird, too fast, too much. Instead, she typed, "See you at 7. The restaurant was on the waterfront, all soft lighting and elegant simplicity. The kind of place where you needed a reservation 3 months in advance and the menu didn't list prices. Jose was already seated when the hostess led Lisa to a private table overlooking Charleston Harbor. He stood when he saw her, and Lisa noticed he'd ditched the tie. White button down, sleeves rolled to his elbows. More relaxed, but somehow even more attractive. "You came," Jose said, pulling out her chair. "You paid my hospital bills and bought my medications. Seemed rude not to show up." He laughed, and the sound was warm. "Fair point." They ordered. She let him choose since she couldn't even pronounce half the items on the menu, and for a few minutes they just sat in comfortable silence, watching boats drift across the water as the sun set. "Tell me about your business," Jose said finally. "Your friend mentioned you lost it in the divorce." Lisa took a sip of water, buying time. "It wasn't much. A small catering company. I started it when I was 25, right out of culinary school. Built it slowly. Got a good reputation. Then I married David, and he convinced me we could expand faster if he helped manage things." She laughed bitterly. "Turns out, manage meant systematically destroy while sleeping with our accountant." "How long were you married?" 3 years. Together for 5 total. I met him at a wedding I was catering. He was charming. Attentive. Said all the right things." Lisa traced the rim of her water glass. "I thought he loved me. Turns out he loved what I could give him. Once the business was his to control, once he'd maxed out the credit cards in my name, once he'd isolated me from most of my friends, he didn't need me anymore." Jose's expression was hard. "He sounds like a piece of work." "That's putting it mildly." Lisa looked at Jose. "Your turn. Tell me about Claire." Jose was quiet for a moment. "What do you want to know?" "How did you meet?" "College. University of South Carolina. I was studying business. She was pre-med. We had the same terrible 8 a.m. statistics class." Jose's face softened with memory. "She used to bring me coffee because I could never wake up on time. By the end of the semester, I was showing up early just to have those 15 minutes with her before class." "She became a doctor?" "Pediatric oncologist. She worked with kids who had cancer." Jose's voice roughened. The universe has a sick sense of irony sometimes. Their food arrived, some kind of fish that probably cost more than Lisa's monthly rent, and they ate in silence for a while. "Can I ask you something?" Lisa said finally. "Anything. Why are you really doing this? The hospital bills, the medications, the house offer. You said it's because you couldn't save Claire, but that's not the whole story, is it?" Jose set down his fork. "You're perceptive. I had to be. My ex-husband was a good liar. I learned to look for what people weren't saying." "Fair." Jose leaned back in his chair. "The truth. I haven't felt anything in 3 years. Since Claire died, I've just been going through the motions. Work. Sleep. Repeat. I bought that house on Sullivan's Island, thinking maybe a new space would help. It didn't. It's just another empty place where I don't belong." He looked at her, and Lisa saw something raw in his eyes. "Then yesterday, I saw you fall. And for the first time in 3 years, I felt something. Panic. Fear. The need to help. To do something." Jose's voice dropped. "I know how insane this sounds. I know you have every reason to think I'm some kind of stalker or creep. But Lisa, I'm not asking you to trust me. I'm just asking you to let me help. No expectations. No strings. Just, let me do this one thing." Lisa's throat felt tight. "What if I can't pay you back? I'm not asking you to. What if I stay for months?" "Then you stay for months." "What if?" "Lisa." Jose reached across the table, stopping just short of touching her hand. What if you just say yes? Have you ever had someone offer to help you when you desperately needed it? Tell me about it in the comments. And keep watching, you won't believe what happens next. Lisa moved into Jose Sullivan's island house on a Saturday morning, 3 days after their dinner. She'd packed everything she owned in 2 suitcases and 3 cardboard boxes. Watching Camille load them into Jose's driver's car had made Lisa's chest ache with a mixture of gratitude and shame. "This doesn't make me pathetic," Lisa said, more to herself than to Camille. "It makes you smart," Camille corrected. "And brave. It takes more courage to accept help than to suffer alone." The house was incredible, didn't even begin to cover it. Modern architecture with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Atlantic. An open-concept kitchen that made Lisa's culinary school-trained heart skip a beat. Hardwood floors. Tasteful art on the walls. And everywhere, so much light. Jose's housekeeper, a warm woman named Martha who had to be in her 60s, greeted Lisa at the door with a smile and an immediate lecture about how Mr. McClendon never ate properly and maybe Lisa could help fix that. "He works too much," Martha said, leading Lisa up the floating staircase to the guest wing. "Barely sleeps. I don't think he's taken a day off since Mrs. Clare passed. That man is running himself into the ground." "He seems fine to me," Lisa said carefully. Martha gave her a look. "Baby, people who are fine don't work 18-hour days 6 days a week. People who are fine don't live in a 6-bedroom house all alone." She pushed open a door. "This is your room. Bathrooms through there. Closets bigger than my first apartment. You need anything, you just holler." The room was beautiful. King-size bed with white linens. A reading nook by the window. The bathroom had a soaking tub that looked like it could fit 3 people. Lisa set her pathetic 2 suitcases down and felt very small. That night, she couldn't sleep. She'd taken her medications. Eaten the dinner Martha had left in the fridge. Taken a bath in that ridiculous tub. But sleep wouldn't come. At 2 a.m., Lisa gave up and wandered downstairs to the kitchen. Maybe some tea would help. She was filling the kettle when she heard footsteps. Jose appeared in the kitchen doorway, wearing gray sweatpants and a t-shirt, his hair messy, looking more human than she'd ever seen him. "Can't sleep?" he asked. "Apparently not. You." "I don't sleep much anymore." Jose moved past her to a cabinet, pulling out 2 mugs. "Chamomile or peppermint?" "Chamomile." They prepared their tea in comfortable silence. Lisa found herself watching the way Jose moved through the kitchen, efficient, practiced. This wasn't a man who had servants do everything for him. This was someone who knew his way around his own space. "Martha likes you," Jose said, leaning against the counter. "I like her too. She's already trying to mother me. She did the same to Claire. Drove Claire crazy at first. Then she realized Martha was just showing love the only way she knew how." Lisa blew on her tea. "Can I ask you something?" "You keep asking permission. You can just ask. Do you regret offering to let me stay here?" Jose's eyebrows rose. "Why would I regret it?" "Because it's weird. And you don't know me. And I'm essentially a charity case living in your house rent-free." "You're not a charity case." Jose's voice was firm. "You're a woman who got dealt a bad hand and is trying to rebuild. There's nothing shameful about that. Your friends must think you're crazy." "I don't have friends. I have business associates and people who want something from me." Jose took a sip of tea. "Claire was my best friend. When she died, I realized everyone else was just there. Surface level. No one who actually gave a damn about me as a person." Lisa's heart squeezed. "That sounds lonely." "It is." Jose looked at her. "What about you? Besides Camille?" "That's pretty much it. David made sure to poison most of my other friendships. Told people I was unstable. Dramatic. That I was the reason the business failed. Lisa's hands tightened around her mug. The worst part? Some of them believed him. Their loss. They drank their tea in the quiet kitchen, and Lisa felt something shift. Like the first crack in a wall she'd built around herself. Can I tell you something stupid? Lisa said. Please. I'm terrified that I'm going to wake up tomorrow and this will all be a dream. That I'll be back in my tiny apartment that smells like old cheese, trying to figure out how to afford both medication and food. Jose set down his mug. It's not a dream. You're here. You're safe. And you're going to heal. You sound very sure of that. I am. Jose's gray eyes held hers. Because I've seen what happens when people don't get the chance to heal. And I'm not going to let that happen to you. The intensity in his voice made Lisa's breath catch. There was something there, between them. Something neither of them was ready to name. Thank you, Lisa whispered. You keep thanking me. Because I'm grateful. Then maybe instead of thanking me, you could just be here. Let yourself exist without guilt or obligation. Can you do that? Lisa wasn't sure. But she nodded anyway. Over the next week, Lisa fell into a routine. She'd wake up to the sound of ocean waves. Take her medications. Make breakfast in that incredible kitchen. Spend hours reading on the beach or walking the island. Martha would stop by and they'd cook together, swapping recipes and stories. And every evening, around 7, Jose would come home. They'd have dinner together. Sometimes they talked about everything. Childhood, dreams, regrets. Sometimes they sat in comfortable silence, just existing in the same space. Lisa learned that Jose took his coffee black with 1 sugar. That he had a scar on his left hand from a skateboarding accident when he was 12. That he'd wanted to be an architect before his father convinced him business was more practical. Jose learned that Lisa stress-baked. That she had a younger brother she hadn't spoken to in 5 years after he sided with David during the divorce. That she could recreate almost any dish after tasting it once. They learned each other. 2 weeks into her stay, Lisa woke up and realized something. Her headaches were gone. She'd been so stressed for so long, she'd forgotten what it felt like to wake up without pain. To go through a day without her temples throbbing. To actually sleep through the night. She mentioned it to Dr. Patterson at her follow-up appointment. That's excellent news, the doctor said, reviewing her chart. Your blood pressure is coming down. Thyroid levels are improving. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. I'm staying with a friend, Lisa said. Beach house. Very low stress. Dr. Patterson smiled knowingly. Well, your friend is probably adding years to your life. I want to see you again in a month, but Lisa? You're doing really well. Walking out of that appointment, Lisa felt lighter than she had in years. She called Camille to share the good news. That's amazing. Camille squealed. See. I told you this was good for you. Now tell me about Jose. How's the billionaire roommate situation going? It's good. He's nice. We have dinner together most nights. And nothing. We're just 2 people sharing a space. Lisa Patricia Hahn, don't you dare lie to me. I can hear it in your voice. Hear what? You like him. Lisa's stomach fluttered. I don't, we're not, it's complicated. It's only complicated if you make it complicated. He's single. You're single. He's gorgeous and kind and rich. You're beautiful and strong and talented. What's complicated? He's still in love with his dead wife, Camille. And I just got out of a nightmare marriage. Neither of us is ready for anything. Maybe, Camille said softly. Or maybe you're exactly what each other needs. That night, Lisa decided to cook dinner for Jose as a thank you. She spent the afternoon in the kitchen, preparing coq au vin, her mom's recipe. The one dish that always made her feel grounded. She made fresh bread, a simple salad, and a lemon tart for dessert. When Jose walked in at 7:30, He stopped in the doorway. Something smells incredible. I made dinner, Lisa said, suddenly nervous. I mean, you've been feeding me for 2 weeks. Seemed fair to return the favor. Jose's expression softened. You didn't have to do that. I know. But I wanted to. They sat at the dining table overlooking the ocean. Jose took his first bite of the cocoa vin and made a sound that went straight to Lisa's belly. This is amazing, he said. Where did you learn to cook like this? My mom. She was from Louisiana originally. Grew up cooking with her grandmother. Lisa smiled at the memory. She died when I was 24. Car accident. Drunk driver. Jose's hand found hers across the table. I'm sorry. It's okay. Well, no, it's not okay. But it's been 10 years. The grief is different now. Softer. Lisa looked at their joined hands. She would have liked you. Yeah. She always said the measure of a man isn't what he has, but what he does when he has the power to help someone and nothing to gain from it. Jose's thumb traced circles on her palm. Your mom sounds like she was smart. She was. They finished dinner, and Lisa started to clear the plates, but Jose stopped her. Let me, he said. You cooked. I'll clean. You sure? Positive. They worked together in the kitchen, falling into an easy rhythm. Jose washed, Lisa dried. And somewhere between the lemon tart and loading the dishwasher, Lisa realized she was happy. Actually, genuinely happy. For the first time in years. Later, they sat on the back deck watching the stars come out over the ocean. Jose had poured them each a glass of wine, and Lisa was curled up in one of the oversized deck chairs, feeling content and safe. Can I ask you something personal? Jose said. Sure. When you think about your future now, what do you see? Lisa considered the question. Honestly, I have no idea. A month ago, I would have said survival. Just making it through each day. But now, she looked at the ocean. Now I think maybe I want more than survival. Maybe I want to actually live again. What would that look like? I don't know. Maybe rebuilding my catering business, but smaller. More personal. Maybe teaching cooking classes. Maybe traveling. I've never been anywhere outside the South. Lisa turned to him. What about you? What do you see when you think about the future? Jose was quiet for a long time. I used to see Claire. Every plan I made included her. And when she died, I couldn't see anything. Just blank space. He looked at Lisa. But lately, I've been seeing things again. Possibilities. Like maybe the future doesn't have to be empty. Lisa's heart was beating too fast. Jose. I'm not saying this to pressure you, Jose said quickly. I just want you to know that having you here has changed something for me. You've reminded me that life can still be good. That connection still matters. Lisa set down her wine glass with shaking hands. I feel it too. Whatever this is. But I'm scared. Of what? Of getting hurt again. Of being wrong about someone. Of. She trailed off. Of falling for someone who's still in love with someone else? Lisa's breath caught. Are you still in love with Claire? Jose looked out at the ocean. I'll always love Claire. She was my first love. My best friend. A huge part of who I am. He turned to Lisa. But loving her doesn't mean I can't love someone else. It doesn't mean my heart is too broken to feel something new. Is that what this is? Something new? I don't know, Jose admitted. But I'd like to find out. If you're willing. Lisa should say no. Should protect her heart. Should remember all the reasons this was a bad idea. Instead, she said, I'm willing. Jose reached for her hand, and this time, neither of them let go. Is Lisa making a mistake? Or is this the fresh start she deserves? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And keep watching because things are about to get complicated. The next morning, Lisa woke to sunlight streaming through her windows and the smell of coffee drifting up from downstairs. She padded down to the kitchen in her pajamas, an old t-shirt and shorts, and found Jose at the stove, flipping pancakes. "You cook," Lisa said, surprised. Jose turned, spatula in hand, and smiled. "Badly. But I'm trying to impress you, so bear with me." The pancakes were slightly burnt on one side, but Lisa ate every bite, and the domestic simplicity of it all made her chest ache. After breakfast, Jose surprised her again. "I have something for you," he said, pulling an envelope from his briefcase. "Don't freak out." Lisa opened it. Inside was a check. Made out to her. For $50,000. Her hands started shaking. "Jose, I can't. Before you say no, listen. This isn't charity. It's an investment." Jose sat across from her at the kitchen island. "You mentioned wanting to rebuild your catering business. Do it. Use this as seed money. Pay yourself back when you're profitable. Or don't. I don't care. I just want you to have the chance to do what you love again." Lisa stared at the check. $50,000. It was more money than she'd ever had at one time in her life. "Why?" she whispered. "Because talent like yours shouldn't go to waste because one asshole destroyed your confidence and your finances." Jose's voice was firm. "Because I believe in you. And because maybe it's time someone invested in Lisa Hahn without expecting her to sacrifice everything in return." Tears blurred Lisa's vision. "I don't know what to say." "Say you'll think about it." Lisa set the check down carefully, like it might disappear if she handled it wrong. "I'll think about it." But she already knew her answer. That afternoon, while Jose was at the office, Lisa sat on the beach with her laptop and started making plans. A small catering company. Intimate events. Weddings, private parties, maybe some cooking classes on the side. She'd rent a commercial kitchen space a few days a week. Keep overhead low. Build slowly. For the first time in 3 years, Lisa felt excited about the future. She was so absorbed in her planning that she didn't hear Camille's car pull up until her friend was standing over her, blocking the sun. "So this is where you've been hiding," Camille said, settling onto the sand beside her. "Living in paradise while the rest of us peasants work for a living." Lisa laughed. "I've been healing. And..." Camille's eyes were knowing. "What else have you been doing?" Lisa told her everything. The dinners with Jose. The late-night conversations. The way he looked at her like she was something precious. The check for $50,000. Camille was quiet for a long moment. "Lisa, are you falling for him?" "I think maybe I already have." "And that terrifies you?" "Completely." Lisa wrapped her arms around her knees. "I swore I'd never let another man have that kind of power over me. That I'd never be vulnerable like that again. But with Jose, it's different. He doesn't make me feel small. He makes me feel seen." "Then maybe that's your answer." Camille bumped Lisa's shoulder. "Not all men are David. Some of them are actually good humans who want to see you shine." "What if I'm wrong? What if I'm seeing what I want to see? What if you're not? What if this is real, and you walk away from it because you're too scared to believe you deserve something good?" Lisa didn't have an answer to that. That evening, Jose came home early with takeout from Lisa's favorite Vietnamese restaurant. "How did you know?" Lisa asked as he unpacked containers of pho and spring rolls. "Martha may have mentioned you've been craving pho all week." They ate dinner on the deck, and Lisa told him about her business plans. Jose listened intently, asking smart questions, offering suggestions without being overbearing. "I want to help," Jose said when she finished. "Not financially, you've got that handled. But I have connections. People who host events. Who might need a caterer. Let me make some introductions." "You've already done so much." And I want to do more. Jose set down his chopsticks. Is that okay? Or is it too much? Lisa thought about Camille's question. What if this was real? It's okay, she said softly. Actually, it's more than okay. The next week flew by in a blur of activity. Lisa met with 3 potential clients Jose had connected her with. She secured a rental agreement for a commercial kitchen space. She started developing a menu and a business plan. And every night, she and Jose fell deeper into whatever this was between them. One evening, after a particularly long day of recipe testing, Lisa found Jose in his study, hunched over paperwork, looking exhausted. When was the last time you took a day off? She asked from the doorway. Jose looked up, rubbing his eyes. Define day off. That's what I thought. Lisa walked into the room. You lecture me about taking care of myself, but you're running yourself into the ground. I have a business to run. You have employees to run the business. You don't have to do everything yourself. Lisa perched on the edge of his desk. When was the last time you did something just for fun? Jose leaned back in his chair. I don't remember. That's sad. Probably. Tomorrow's Saturday, Lisa said. Take the day off. Spend it with me. Jose's eyes warmed. Doing what? I don't know. Normal people things. We could go to the farmer's market. Maybe drive up to Boone Hall Plantation. Get ice cream. Just exist without work or stress or obligation. I haven't done normal people things in years. All the more reason to start now. Jose was quiet for a moment, and Lisa thought he might say no. But then he smiled, a real, genuine smile that made him look years younger. Okay. Yeah. Let's do normal people things. Saturday morning dawned bright and clear. Lisa woke to find a note slipped under her door. Meet me downstairs at 9. Dress casual. J. She found Jose in the kitchen wearing jeans and a simple gray t-shirt that made him look almost unbearably attractive. Gone was the billionaire businessman. This was just... Jose. Ready? He asked. Where are we going? You said farmer's market. So farmer's market it is. The Charleston farmer's market was crowded and loud and perfect. They wandered through stalls selling everything from fresh produce to handmade jewelry. Jose bought her flowers, bright sunflowers that made her think of summer. Lisa bought him a jar of local honey because he'd mentioned loving it in his tea. They ate lunch at a food truck, shrimp tacos that were messy and delicious, and Lisa couldn't remember the last time she'd seen Jose this relaxed. This is nice, Jose said, licking hot sauce off his thumb. Just nice. Okay, it's really nice. I'd forgotten what it feels like to just be somewhere, without an agenda or a schedule. After the market, they drove to Boone Hall Plantation. They walked the oak-lined path, neither of them speaking, just being together. At one point, Jose reached for Lisa's hand. She let him take it. They ended the day at an ice cream shop downtown. Lisa got mint chocolate chip. Jose got vanilla, which Lisa teased him about mercilessly. Vanilla is a classic, Jose defended. Vanilla is boring. I'm boring. You're not boring. Lisa looked at him seriously. You're just scared of taking risks. Jose's expression shifted. Am I? In ice cream flavors, yes. In life. Lisa's voice softened. I think you're braver than you give yourself credit for. They sat on a bench overlooking the harbor, eating their ice cream as the sun began to set. Thank you, Jose said quietly. For what? For reminding me how to live. Lisa leaned her head on his shoulder. Thank you for giving me a reason to. That night, something shifted between them. They were sitting on the deck, as had become their habit, when Jose turned to her. Lisa, I need to tell you something. Her heart started racing. Okay. I'm falling for you. The words came out raw, honest. I didn't plan it. Didn't expect it. But somewhere between hospital visits and late-night tea and watching you rebuild your life with so much courage, I fell hard. Lisa couldn't breathe. Jose. I know it's fast. I know we're both supposed to be damaged and broken and not ready. But I don't care. Because when I'm with you, I don't feel broken. I feel whole. Lisa's eyes filled with tears. I'm scared. I know. So am I. Jose took her hands. But I'd rather be scared with you than safe without you. What if we're making a mistake? Then we'll make it together. Lisa looked at this man who'd appeared in her life like some kind of miracle. Who'd caught her when she fell. Who'd given her space to heal and the courage to rebuild. Who looked at her like she was worth fighting for. I'm falling for you too, she whispered. Jose's smile was like the sun breaking through clouds. Yeah. Yeah. Lisa laughed through her tears. Turns out, you're pretty easy to fall for. Jose cupped her face in his hands, his thumb brushing away her tears. Can I kiss you? Lisa's answer was to close the distance between them. The kiss was soft at first, tentative. Like they were both afraid of breaking something precious. But then. It's only complicated if you make it complicated. He's single. You're single. He's gorgeous and kind and rich. You're beautiful and strong and talented. What's complicated? He's still in love with his dead wife, Camille. And I just got out of a nightmare marriage. Neither of us is ready for anything. Maybe, Camille said softly. Or maybe you're exactly what each other needs. That night, Lisa decided to cook dinner for Jose as a thank you. She spent the afternoon in the kitchen, preparing coq au vin, her mom's recipe. The one dish that always made her feel grounded. She made fresh bread, a simple salad, and a lemon tart for dessert. When Jose walked in at 7:30, he stopped in the doorway. Something smells incredible. I made dinner, Lisa said, suddenly nervous. I mean, you've been feeding me for 2 weeks. Seemed fair to return the favor. Jose's expression softened. You didn't have to do that. I know. But I wanted to. They sat at the dining table overlooking the ocean. Jose took his first bite of the coq au vin and made a sound that went straight to Lisa's belly. This is amazing, he said. Where did you learn to cook like this? My mom. She was from Louisiana originally. Grew up cooking with her grandmother. Lisa smiled at the memory. She died when I was 24. Car accident. Drunk driver. Jose's hand found hers across the table. I'm sorry. It's okay. Well, no, it's not okay. But it's been 10 years. The grief is different now. Softer. Lisa looked at their joined hands. She would have liked you. Yeah. Yeah. She always said the measure of a man isn't what he has, but what he does when he has the power to help someone and nothing to gain from it. Jose's thumb traced circles on her palm. Your mom sounds like she was smart. She was. They finished dinner, and Lisa started to clear the plates, but Jose stopped her. Let me, he said. You cooked. I'll clean. You sure? Positive. They worked together in the kitchen, falling into an easy rhythm. Jose washed, Lisa dried. And somewhere between the lemon tart and loading the dishwasher, Lisa realized she was happy. Actually, genuinely happy. For the first time in years. Later, they sat on the back deck watching the stars come out over the ocean. Jose had poured them each a glass of wine, and Lisa was curled up in one of the oversized deck chairs, feeling content and safe. Can I ask you something personal? Jose said. Sure. When you think about your future now, what do you see? Lisa considered the question. Honestly, I have no idea. A month ago, I would have said survival. Just making it through each day. But now, she looked at the ocean. Now I think maybe I want more than survival. Maybe I want to actually live again. What would that look like? I don't know. Maybe rebuilding my catering business, but smaller. More personal. Maybe teaching cooking classes. Maybe traveling. I've never been anywhere outside the South. Lisa turned to him. What about you? What do you see when you think about the future? Jose was quiet for a long time. I used to see Claire. Every plan I made included her. And when she died, I couldn't see anything. Just blank space. He looked at Lisa. But lately, I've been seeing things again. Possibilities. Like maybe the future doesn't have to be empty. Lisa's heart was beating too fast. Jose. I'm not saying this to pressure you, Jose said quickly. I just want you to know that having you here has changed something for me. You've reminded me that life can still be good. That connection still matters. Lisa set down her wine glass with shaking hands. I feel it too. Whatever this is. But I'm scared. Of what? Of getting hurt again. Of being wrong about someone. She trailed off. Of falling for someone who's still in love with someone else? Lisa's breath caught. Are you still in love with Claire? Jose looked out at the ocean. I'll always love Claire. She was my first love. My best friend. A huge part of who I am. He turned to Lisa. But loving her doesn't mean I can't love someone else. It doesn't mean my heart is too broken to feel something new. Is that what this is? Something new? I don't know, Jose admitted. But I'd like to find out. If you're willing. Lisa should say no. Should protect her heart. Should remember all the reasons this was a bad idea. Instead, she said, I'm willing. Jose reached for her hand, and this time, neither of them let go. Is Lisa making a mistake? Or is this the fresh start she deserves? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And keep watching because things are about to get complicated. The next morning, Lisa woke to sunlight streaming through her windows and the smell of coffee drifting up from downstairs. She padded down to the kitchen in her pajamas, an old t-shirt and shorts, and found Jose at the stove, flipping pancakes. You cook, Lisa said, surprised. Jose turned, spatula in hand, and smiled. Badly. But I'm trying to impress you, so bear with me. The pancakes were slightly burnt on one side, but Lisa ate every bite, and the domestic simplicity of it all made her chest ache. After breakfast, Jose surprised her again. I have something for you, he said, pulling an envelope from his briefcase. Don't freak out. Lisa opened it. Inside was a check. Made out to her. For $50,000. Her hands started shaking. Jose, I can't. Before you say no, listen. This isn't charity. It's an investment. Jose sat across from her at the kitchen island. You mentioned wanting to rebuild your catering business. Do it. Use this as seed money. Pay yourself back when you're profitable. Or don't. I don't care. I just want you to have the chance to do what you love again. Lisa stared at the check. $50,000. It was more money than she'd ever had at one time in her life. Why? She whispered. Because talent like yours shouldn't go to waste because one asshole destroyed your confidence and your finances. Jose's voice was firm. Because I believe in you. And because maybe it's time someone invested in Lisa Hahn without expecting her to sacrifice everything in return. Tears blurred Lisa's vision. I don't know what to say. Say you'll think about it. Lisa set the check down carefully, like it might disappear if she handled it wrong. I'll think about it. But she already knew her answer. That afternoon, while Jose was at the office, Lisa sat on the beach with her laptop and started making plans. A small catering company. Intimate events. Weddings, private parties, maybe some cooking classes on the side. She'd rent a commercial kitchen space a few days a week. Keep overhead low. Build slowly. For the first time in 3 years, Lisa felt excited about the future. She was so absorbed in her planning that she didn't hear Camille's car pull up until her friend was standing over her, blocking the sun. Jose's hand slid into her hair, and Lisa's arms wrapped around his neck, and the kiss deepened into something that felt like coming home. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Jose rested his forehead against hers. "I've wanted to do that since the day you woke up in that hospital room and looked at me like I was crazy," he admitted. Lisa laughed. "You kind of were crazy. Who pays a stranger's hospital bills?" "Someone who knew, even then, that you were going to change everything." They kissed again, slower this time, savoring it. And for the first time in as long as Lisa could remember, she let herself believe in possibility. "Oh my God, are you swooning right now? Because I am. Tell me in the comments if you believe in second chances at love. And keep watching because part 5 is about to turn everything upside down." The next 3 weeks were the happiest Lisa had experienced in years. She and Jose fell into a relationship that felt both brand new and comfortingly familiar. They still had dinner together every night, but now those dinners ended with long kisses on the deck, hands intertwined, hearts open. Lisa's catering business was taking off faster than she'd expected. She'd booked 3 weddings and 2 corporate events. The commercial kitchen space was perfect, and she'd even hired Camille part-time to help with administrative work. Everything was falling into place. Too perfectly. Lisa should have known something would shatter it. It was a Tuesday afternoon. Lisa was at the kitchen space, testing a new recipe for bourbon-glazed short ribs, when her phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer, but something made her pick up. "Hello, Lisa." The voice made her blood run cold. "It's David." Lisa's hand tightened on the phone. "How did you get this number? Does it matter? We need to talk." "We have nothing to talk about. The divorce is final. We're done." "That's where you're wrong." David's voice had that familiar manipulative edge. "See, I've been hearing some interesting things. About you and Jose McClendon." Lisa's heart started pounding. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Don't play dumb, Lisa. It doesn't suit you." David laughed, cold and mean. "You're living in his house. Starting a business with his money. Seems like you've really landed on your feet. That's none of your business." "Oh, but it is. See, when we got divorced, the settlement was based on your financial situation at the time. Broke, desperate, unable to support yourself. But now." David's voice turned sharp. "Now you're shacked up with a billionaire and starting a new company. That changes things." Lisa's stomach dropped. "What do you want, David?" "I want what's fair. I want half of your new business. Half of whatever money McClendon gave you. And I want it in writing, or I go to the judge and petition to reopen the divorce settlement." "You can't do that. Watch me. My lawyer says we have a strong case. You claimed financial hardship. Turns out you were just hiding assets with your new boyfriend." "I wasn't dating Jose when we got divorced. I didn't even know him." "Prove it." David's voice was smug. "See you in court, Lisa." He hung up. Lisa stood in the middle of the commercial kitchen, phone still pressed to her ear, and felt her carefully rebuilt world start to crumble. She drove back to Sullivan's Island in a daze. When she got to the house, Jose's car was already in the driveway. He'd come home early. She found him in the kitchen, pulling leftovers from the fridge. "Hey, you're home," Jose said, smiling. Then he saw her face. "What's wrong?" Lisa's hands were shaking. David called. Jose went very still. "What did he want?" "He knows. About us. About the money you gave me for the business. He's threatening to reopen the divorce settlement unless I give him half of everything." "He can't do that." "He says he can. He says I claimed financial hardship during the divorce, and now that I'm with you, that changes things." Lisa's voice cracked. "Jose, I can't lose this business. It's the first thing that's been mine in years. And I can't drag you into my mess." Jose crossed the kitchen and pulled her into his arms. "Listen to me. You're not losing anything. And I'm already in your mess, remember? By choice. You don't understand. David is vicious. He'll drag this out. Make it ugly. Try to paint me as some kind of gold digger who... Lisa stopped, a horrible realization dawning. Oh my God. What? What if that's what people think? That I seduced a grieving billionaire to get access to his money? Lisa pulled away from Jose. Your reputation, your business. I don't care. You should care. You've built an empire. You have shareholders, employees, people who depend on you. A scandal like this could... Lisa. Jose's voice was firm. I don't give a damn what people think. The only thing I care about is you. But... No buts. We're going to fight this. Together. Jose pulled out his phone. I'm calling my lawyer. We'll figure this out. Jose, maybe I should just move out. Put some distance between us until this blows over. If David can't prove we're together, he doesn't have a case. The look on Jose's face was almost heartbreaking. Is that what you want? No. But I don't want to destroy everything you've built because my ex-husband is a vindictive asshole. Jose set his phone down. Do you trust me? Yes. Then trust me when I say we're going to handle this. You're not moving out. You're not running away. And you're sure as hell not letting David Hahn control your life anymore. Lisa wanted to believe him. But she'd been here before. She'd trusted David to have her back, and he'd destroyed her. What if I'm poison? Lisa whispered. What if everyone I love ends up hurt because of me? Jose cupped her face in his hands. You're not poison. You're the best thing that's happened to me in years. And I'm not letting you go without a fight. He kissed her, and Lisa felt some of the fear loosen its grip. That night, Jose's lawyer came to the house. Benjamin Stratton was in his 50s, sharp-suited, and had the kind of confidence that came from winning more cases than he'd lost. He listened to Lisa's story, took notes, and asked pointed questions about the timeline of her relationship with Jose. David's lawyer is grasping at straws, Benjamin said finally. You didn't meet Mr. McClendon until after the divorce was finalized. The business investment came weeks after that. There's no basis for reopening the settlement. Then why is he doing this? Lisa asked. Because he's hoping you'll settle out of court to avoid the hassle and publicity. Benjamin looked at Jose. He's banking on the fact that Jose McClendon doesn't want his name in the tabloids associated with a messy divorce case. I don't care about tabloids, Jose said flatly. I know. But David Hahn doesn't know that. Benjamin turned to Lisa. Here's what's going to happen. We're going to file a motion to dismiss his petition. We'll provide documentation of the timeline. Bank records showing when the investment was made. Witness testimony about when you met. And if he wants to push this to trial, we'll bury him. Lisa felt like she could breathe again. You really think we can win? I don't think. I know. Benjamin packed up his briefcase. Get me every piece of documentation you have about the divorce, the business, your relationship timeline. I'll handle the rest. After Benjamin left, Lisa collapsed on the couch, emotionally exhausted. Jose sat beside her, pulling her against his chest. See. It's going to be fine. I'm sorry, Lisa whispered. For what? For bringing drama into your life. For... Lisa. Jose tilted her chin up. Stop apologizing for your ex-husband being an asshole. This isn't your fault. It feels like my fault. It's not. Jose kissed her forehead. And we're going to fight this together. Okay. Okay. But that night, after Jose fell asleep, Lisa lay awake, staring at the ceiling. What if David found a way to win? What if she lost the business? What if being with Jose ended up costing him more than just money? What if it cost him his reputation, his peace, his carefully rebuilt life? What if loving her was the worst decision Jose had ever made? The next morning, Lisa woke to find Jose already gone. A note on his pillow said he had an early meeting but would be home for dinner. Lisa tried to work on menu planning for an upcoming wedding, but she couldn't focus. Around noon, her phone rang. "Camille, have you seen the news?" Camille's voice was tight. "What news?" "Someone leaked your story to the press. It's all over the local news sites. Recently divorced woman moves in with billionaire Jose McClendon. Is it love, or a calculated move?" Lisa's vision blurred. No. No, no, no. It gets worse. They have photos of you and Jose at the farmer's market, at dinner, kissing on his deck. How? How did they get those? I don't know, but Lisa, the comments are brutal. People are calling you a gold digger, saying you seduced Jose for his money, saying he's being taken advantage of while he's still grieving his wife. Lisa ended the call and pulled up the news article. There it was. Her worst nightmare in digital form. The photos showed her and Jose looking happy, in love, completely unaware they were being watched. The article was a masterclass in implication without outright accusation. It presented questions about the timeline of their relationship, mentioned the money Jose had given her, quoted anonymous sources who said Jose's late wife would be heartbroken to see him with someone so soon. Lisa's phone started ringing. Unknown numbers. Reporters, probably. She turned it off and sat in the quiet house, feeling everything she'd built start to slip away. When Jose came home that evening, his face was grim. "I know," Lisa said before he could speak. "I saw the article. It's David. Has to be. He leaked it to pressure you into settling." Jose threw his briefcase on the counter. "My PR team is already working on damage control, but..." "Jose, maybe we should cool things off. Just until this dies down." "Absolutely not. People are saying terrible things. About both of us. Your board of directors must be." "I don't care what my board thinks. I don't care what strangers on the internet think." Jose crossed to her. "The only opinion that matters is yours. Do you want this? Us?" Lisa's eyes filled with tears. "Yes. But I don't want to hurt you." "Then stop trying to protect me and let me protect you." Jose pulled her into his arms. "We're going to weather this storm. Together. And when it's over, we're going to build the life we want." "Okay. Okay," Lisa whispered against his chest. But she could feel the walls closing in. "This is getting intense. What would you do in Lisa's situation? Let me know in the comments. And don't go anywhere because part 6 is about to get even crazier." The next week was a nightmare. News vans parked outside the Sullivan's Island house. Reporters shouted questions whenever Lisa tried to leave. Her phone, even with the number changed, somehow kept getting calls from journalists wanting her side of the story. The business took a hit. 2 of her wedding clients canceled, citing concerns about the publicity. Her social media filled with comments from strangers who decided she was a villain based on one article. Jose hired security, tightened his PR strategy, had his lawyers send cease and desist letters to the worst offenders. But the damage was done. Lisa stood in the commercial kitchen, staring at the short ribs she was supposed to be prepping for an event tomorrow, and couldn't remember why any of this had ever mattered. Her phone buzzed. "Jose. Jose, come home, please." Lisa looked at the half-prepped food, the stack of invoices she couldn't pay because clients had canceled, the dream she'd built that was crumbling around her. Then she turned off the lights and went home. She found Jose on the deck, 2 glasses of wine already poured, looking as exhausted as she felt. "Rough day?" he asked as she sat beside him. "Is there any other kind lately?" Lisa took a long sip of wine. "I lost another client today. That's 4 total. I'm sorry. It's not your fault. Isn't it?" Jose's voice was rough. If you hadn't met me, if I hadn't pushed you to accept help, none of this would be happening. Lisa set down her wine glass. Jose McClendon, don't you dare. Meeting you saved my life. Literally. I would probably be dead from a stroke right now if you hadn't caught me that day. But now you're being crucified in the press because of me. Because of David. Not you. Lisa took his hand. The article, the photos, the leaked information, that's all David. He's trying to break me. Make me give up. Give him what he wants. So we fight harder. How? How do we fight this? Lisa's voice cracked. People have already made up their minds. I'm the evil gold digger. You're the poor billionaire being taken advantage of. It doesn't matter what the truth is. Jose was quiet for a long time. Then, what if we told them the truth? What do you mean? A press conference. You and me. We lay out the whole story. The divorce. The hospital. The timeline. Everything. Jose turned to her. We take away David's power by being completely transparent. Jose, that's the only way to control the narrative. Jose's eyes were fierce. Right now, we're letting David and the press tell our story. What if we told it ourselves? Lisa thought about it. About standing in front of cameras and reporters. About sharing the most vulnerable moments of her life with strangers. About exposing every wound David had left. It terrified her. It also felt like the right thing to do. Okay, Lisa said. Let's do it. The press conference was scheduled for Friday afternoon at Jose's downtown office. Benjamin Stratton helped them prepare, running through potential questions, coaching them on staying calm and united. The night before, Lisa couldn't sleep. She lay in Jose's arms. They'd been sharing a bed for the past week, finding comfort in physical closeness, and tried to quiet her racing mind. What if I mess up tomorrow? Lisa whispered. What if I say the wrong thing and make everything worse? Jose's arms tightened around her. You won't. And even if you do, we'll handle it together. You keep saying that. Together. Because it's true. We're a team now, Lisa. Whatever happens, we face it together. Lisa turned in his arms so she could see his face in the moonlight streaming through the windows. I love you. The words surprised her. She hadn't planned to say them. But they were true, and she was tired of being afraid. Jose's expression softened. I love you too. Have for a while now. Yeah. Yeah. Jose kissed her gently. You're brave and strong and brilliant, and I'm so damn lucky you collapsed on those courthouse steps. Lisa laughed through sudden tears. That's a weird thing to be grateful for. Maybe. But it brought you into my life. And that's the best thing that's happened to me in 3 years. They made love that night, slow and tender, holding on to each other like lifelines. And in the morning, they got dressed in coordinated outfits. Jose in a navy suit, Lisa in a simple but professional dress Camille had helped her pick out, and prepared to face the world. The press conference room was packed. Cameras everywhere. Reporters shouting questions before they even sat down. Jose took Lisa's hand as they walked to the podium. Benjamin made a brief statement about the purpose of the press conference, then stepped aside. Jose spoke first. Good afternoon. My name is Jose McClendon, and this is Lisa Hahn. We're here today to address the recent media speculation about our relationship. He laid out the facts. His wife's death 3 years ago. The business meeting at the courthouse. Seeing Lisa collapse. The hospital visit. The discovery of her health crisis. I offered Lisa a place to stay because I understood what it meant to watch someone suffer while trying to be strong, Jose said, his voice steady. My wife died because she ignored her symptoms for too long. Lisa nearly did the same thing. And I wouldn't, let that happen if I had the power to prevent it. Then it was Lisa's turn. Her hands shook as she gripped the microphone, but she forced herself to speak. I married David Hahn 5 years ago. For 3 years, I believed we were building a life together. Instead, he was systematically destroying the business I'd built, isolating me from my friends, and having an affair with our accountant. Lisa's voice grew stronger as she continued. When I finally left him, I had nothing. $47. No health insurance. A body that was shutting down from stress. And then I collapsed, and Jose caught me. Literally caught me when I fell. She looked at Jose, drawing strength from his presence. The money for my business? That came 2 weeks after I was discharged from the hospital. After Jose and I had become friends. After he saw my business plan and believed in me when I'd stopped believing in myself. Lisa turned back to the cameras. My ex-husband is trying to paint this as some calculated scheme. The truth. I met Jose McClendon on the worst day of my life, and he showed me kindness when I desperately needed it. If that makes me a gold digger in your eyes, then you've fundamentally misunderstood what kindness looks like. The reporters erupted with questions, but Jose held up a hand. We'll take a few questions. But I want to make one thing very clear. His voice went hard. Lisa Hahn is the strongest, most resilient person I've ever met. She rebuilt her life from nothing. She started a business despite having every reason to give up. And she's faced this media circus with more grace than most people could manage. So if you're going to write a story about her, write that one. Not the fairy tale about the scheming woman and the naive billionaire. A reporter in the front raised her hand. Mr. McClendon, are you saying you're in a romantic relationship with Ms. Hahn? Jose didn't hesitate. Yes. Lisa and I are in a relationship. We fell in love. It wasn't planned. It wasn't calculated. It just happened. And you don't think that's too soon? After your wife's death. Jose's jaw tightened, but his voice stayed level. My wife died 3 years ago. I loved her with everything I had. I will always love her. But she wouldn't want me to spend the rest of my life alone. She'd want me to be happy. And Lisa makes me happy. Another reporter, Ms. Hahn, what do you say to people who think you're taking advantage of Mr. McClendon's grief? Lisa looked directly into the camera. I'd say they don't know Jose. He's not some victim being manipulated. He's a grown man who makes his own choices. And he chose to help me when I needed it most. If that's so hard for people to understand, maybe they should examine why kindness between two consenting adults seems suspicious to them. The questions continued, some hostile, some genuinely curious. Jose and Lisa answered them together, united. Finally, Benjamin stepped forward. That's all the time we have. Thank you. As they walked out of the press conference, Lisa's legs felt weak. How did I do? She asked Jose. You were perfect. Jose kissed her temple. Absolutely perfect. That evening, the news coverage was mixed. Some outlets praised their transparency. Others doubled down on the gold digger narrative. But the tide had started to turn. By the next morning, a video from the press conference had gone viral. Not the whole thing, just the clip of Lisa saying, "If that makes me a gold digger in your eyes, then you've fundamentally misunderstood what kindness looks like." The comments were overwhelmingly supportive. This woman is a badass. Jose McClendon is a lucky man. Her ex-husband sounds like a nightmare. Good for her for finding someone who actually treats her well. Why is it so hard to believe that two people just fell in love? Camille called, crying happy tears. Lisa, have you seen this? The internet loves you. Lisa pulled up the video, watched herself speak with a strength she hadn't known she possessed, and felt something shift inside her. She wasn't a victim anymore. She wasn't broken. She was a woman who'd survived hell and come out fighting. That night, Benjamin called with news. David's lawyer withdrew the petition to reopen the divorce settlement. Lisa nearly dropped her phone. What? After the press conference, they realized they couldn't win in the court of public opinion. And without that pressure, their legal case falls apart. Benjamin sounded pleased. It's over, Lisa. You won. After she hung up, Lisa found Jose in his home office and collapsed into his lap, laughing and crying at the same time. It's over, she said. David dropped the case. Jose held her tight. I'm so proud of you. We did it together. We did. Jose pulled back to look at her. So what now? Lisa thought about it. About the business she was building. About the life she was creating. About the man who'd appeared when she needed him most and refused to let her face the world alone. Now. Lisa smiled. Now we live. Can you believe it? Justice served. Drop a celebration emoji in the comments. But wait, we're not done yet. Part 7 is about to bring everything full circle. 3 months later. Lisa stood in her newly expanded commercial kitchen, supervising a team of 3 prep cooks for the biggest event she'd booked yet, a wedding for 200 guests at a historic Charleston venue. Her business had exploded after the press conference. Turns out, people loved a good redemption story. She'd been profiled in Southern Living magazine. Food blogs wrote about her inspiring journey from rock bottom to rising star. Wedding planners throughout the Southeast were calling to book her. She'd paid Jose back the $50,000 3 weeks ago. He'd tried to refuse it, but Lisa insisted. She needed to know she'd built this herself. That it was truly hers. Lisa. One of her prep cooks called out. The duck needs your approval. Lisa tasted the dish, made a small adjustment to the glaze, and gave a thumbs up. This was what she was meant to do. Her phone buzzed. Jose, dinner tonight? I have something I want to ask you. Lisa smiled. Lisa, always. See you at 7. She'd moved out of Jose's Sullivan's Island house 2 months ago. Not because things were bad between them. They were better than ever. But because Lisa needed her own space. Needed to prove to herself that she could stand on her own 2 feet. She'd rented a small cottage near downtown Charleston. Cozy, affordable, hers. Jose had been disappointed but understanding. And they still saw each other almost every day. Spent weekends at the beach house. Took turns cooking dinner at each other's places. It was working. They were working. That evening, Lisa arrived at Jose's house to find the deck transformed. Twinkle lights everywhere. A table set with actual china. Candles flickering in the ocean breeze. Jose. Lisa called out. What's all this? Jose appeared from the house, wearing dark slacks and a button-down shirt, looking nervous in a way she'd never seen him before. This is me being romantic, he said. You're always romantic. Okay, this is me being extra romantic. They sat down to dinner, a meal Jose had actually cooked himself, with only minor help from Martha, and talked about their days. Lisa told him about the wedding prep. Jose told her about a new development project he was excited about. It was comfortable, easy, real. After dinner, Jose stood and offered his hand. Walk with me. They walked down to the beach, shoes off, waves lapping at their feet. The moon was full, casting silver light across the water. Jose stopped walking and turned to face her. Lisa Patricia Hahn, I have something to say. Lisa's heart started pounding. For months ago, I was going through the motions of living without actually being alive. I'd convinced myself that the best parts of my life were behind me. That I'd had my chance at love and lost it. Jose took her hands. And then you collapsed on those courthouse steps, and everything changed. Tears were already forming in Lisa's eyes. You reminded me what it means to be brave. To rebuild when everything falls apart. To believe that second chances are possible. Jose's voice roughened. You made me want to live again, Lisa. Really live. Not just survive. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. Lisa's breath caught. I know it hasn't been long. I know people will probably say we're rushing. But Lisa, when you know, you know. And I know that I want to spend the rest of my life with you. building a future together, creating new memories while honoring the past. Just being happy. Jose got down on one knee. Lisa, will you marry me? He opened the box to reveal a ring, a simple, elegant diamond set in platinum. Lisa was crying now, happy tears streaming down her face. Yes, she said. Yes, absolutely yes. Jose slipped the ring on her finger, then stood and kissed her deeply, both of them laughing and crying at the same time. I love you, Jose said against her lips. So damn much. I love you too. Even though you're completely insane for wanting to marry someone you met 4 months ago. Crazy in love counts as insane, right? Lisa laughed. Absolutely. They walked back to the house hand in hand, Lisa's ring catching the moonlight. Can I tell you something? Lisa said. Anything. For months ago, I thought my life was over. I thought I'd lost everything that mattered. And I was so angry at the universe for dealing me such a terrible hand. Lisa stopped walking and looked at Jose. But if I hadn't married David, if he hadn't destroyed my business, if I hadn't collapsed on those courthouse steps, I never would have met you. And you're the best thing that's ever happened to me. Jose cupped her face. So you're saying David did you a favor? God, no. He's still an asshole. But maybe sometimes terrible things lead to beautiful things. Maybe rock bottom is just the foundation for something better. I like that philosophy. They spent the rest of the night making plans. Talking about the wedding, small and intimate, just close friends and family. Discussing whether to live at the beach house or find somewhere new together. Dreaming about the future. Lisa fell asleep in Jose's arms, her engagement ring catching the moonlight through the windows, feeling more at peace than she'd ever been. The next morning, she woke to find Jose already up, making coffee in the kitchen. Morning, fiancé, he said, grinning. Morning, fiancé. Lisa joined him, accepting the coffee mug he offered. So, when should we tell people? How about now? Before Lisa could ask what he meant, Jose pulled out his phone and opened Instagram. What are you doing? Taking control of our narrative. One last time. He snapped a photo of their hands, her ring visible, the ocean in the background. Typed out a caption and showed it to Lisa. 4 months ago, I met this woman on the worst day of her life. Today, I asked her to spend the rest of her life with me. She said yes. To everyone who supported us through the chaos and the tabloids and the judgment, thank you. To everyone who didn't, we hope you find your own second chance at happiness someday. Jose. Lisa added her own post. A photo of Jose laughing, taken on their first trip to the farmer's market. Life has a funny way of surprising you. 1 minute you're collapsing on courthouse steps, the next you're saying yes to the man who caught you, in more ways than one. I'm marrying Jose McClendon, and I couldn't be happier. To my ex-husband who tried to destroy me, thank you for failing. To everyone who believed in our love story, we're just getting started. Lisa. They posted simultaneously. Within minutes, the comments flooded in. Congratulations. This is the love story we all needed. Crying happy tears over here. Her ex must be so mad right now. Lisa's phone rang. Camille. You're engaged and you didn't tell me first. Lisa laughed. I'm telling you now. I'm coming over right now. We have wedding planning to do. Do you hear me? Right now. Camille showed up 30 minutes later with champagne and an armful of bridal magazines. Okay, tell me everything. How did he propose? What did he say? Can I see the ring? Oh my God, it's gorgeous. Lisa recounted the proposal while Camille cried and squealed and demanded every detail. I'm so happy for you, Camille said seriously. You deserve this, Lisa. All of it. It still feels surreal sometimes. Like I'm going to wake up and be back in that tiny apartment, broke and alone. But you're not. You built yourself back up. You took a chance on love. And now you get your happily ever after. Lisa looked at her engagement ring, then at Jose, who was on a business call but kept glancing over at her and smiling. Yeah, I guess I do. Are you crying? Because I'm crying. Tell me about your own second chance stories in the comments. And stick around. Part 8 is going to tie everything together beautifully. 6 months later. Lisa stood in front of a full-length mirror in a private room at the Cathedral of St. Luke and St. Paul, smoothing down the simple silk wedding dress she'd chosen. No elaborate gown. No cathedral train. Just a beautiful, elegant dress that made her feel like herself. Like the woman she'd become. Camille was adjusting Lisa's veil, tears already streaming down her face. Stop crying or you'll make me cry, Lisa said. I can't help it. You're getting married to a literal Prince Charming. He's not a prince. He's just Jose. A billionaire Jose who looks at you like you hung the moon and saved your life and proposed on a moonlit beach and, Camille fanned her face. Okay, I need to stop or my makeup is going to be ruined. There was a knock at the door. Come in, Lisa called. The door opened to reveal her younger brother, Marcus, looking uncomfortable in his rented tux. Lisa's breath caught. She hadn't seen Marcus in 5 years. Not since he'd sided with David during the divorce, believing his lies about Lisa being unstable and dramatic. What are you doing here? Lisa asked carefully. Marcus shifted his weight. Jose invited me. He said you missed me. That maybe I should hear your side of the story. He looked at his feet. I'm sorry, Lisa. I believed David's lies. I should have trusted you. Lisa's eyes filled with tears. You're here now. That's what matters. Marcus crossed the room and pulled his sister into a tight hug. I'm proud of you. For leaving David. For rebuilding your life. For finding someone who actually deserves you. Thank you, Lisa whispered. After Marcus left, Camille gave Lisa a knowing look. Jose invited your brother without telling you? Apparently. That man is a keeper. I know. Lisa touched her ring. I really know. The ceremony was small, just 50 people in the historic Charleston church. Exactly what Lisa and Jose had wanted. As the music started and Lisa walked down the aisle on Marcus's arm, she saw Jose waiting at the altar, and everything else faded away. He was crying. Jose McClendon, billionaire businessman who commanded boardrooms and closed billion-dollar deals, was openly crying as he watched her walk toward him. When she reached the altar, he took her hands and whispered, "You're so beautiful. You're not so bad yourself." The ceremony was traditional but personal. They'd written their own vows. Jose went first. Lisa, 4 months ago, he stopped, laughed. Sorry, 10 months ago now. 4 months felt right when I was planning this. The guests chuckled. 10 months ago, I saw you fall, and I caught you. But the truth is, you caught me too. You caught me when I was drowning in grief and loneliness and going through the motions of a life I didn't want. You reminded me what it means to be alive. To laugh. To hope. To love. His voice broke. I promise to catch you every time you fall. To build you up when the world tries to tear you down. To be your partner, your friend, your biggest supporter. I promise to love you with everything I have, for the rest of my life. Lisa was full-on crying now. Jose, she began, her voice shaking. You appeared in my life when I was broken. And you didn't try to fix me, you just gave me space to heal. You believed in me when I'd stopped believing in myself. You fought for me when I was too tired to fight for myself. You showed me that love doesn't have to hurt. That partnership means building each other up, not tearing each other down. She squeezed his hands. I promise to love you with the same courage you showed me. To be your safe place. To honor Claire's memory by living the life she would have wanted for you. And to remind you every single day that you deserve happiness. I love you, Jose McClendon. With everything I am. They exchanged rings. The officiant pronounced them husband and wife. And when Jose kissed her, Lisa felt like she was flying. The reception was at Jose's beach house, their beach house now, with tables set up on the sand, twinkle lights strung everywhere, and the ocean as their backdrop. During their first dance, Jose pulled Lisa close and whispered in her ear. "Thank you." "For what?" "For saying yes to dinner that first night. For taking a chance on me. For being brave enough to love again." Lisa looked up at him. "Thank you for catching me." "Always." Later, Camille gave a toast that had everyone laughing and crying. "I've known Lisa since college. I watched her build a business from scratch. I watched her survive a nightmare marriage. And I watched her collapse on those courthouse steps, broken and exhausted and alone." Camille raised her glass. But then this ridiculous man showed up, paid her hospital bills, offered her a place to stay, invested in her business, and fell head over heels in love with her. And Lisa, stubborn, independent, "I don't need anyone, Lisa. Let him in." She let herself be loved. And guys, that's the real love story. Not the billionaire romance. Not the dramatic press conference. It's Lisa choosing to believe she deserved good things. So here's to second chances. To finding love when you least expect it. And to my best friend, who's finally getting the happily ever after she always deserved. There wasn't a dry eye in the house. As the night wore on, Lisa found herself standing on the deck, looking out at the ocean, overwhelmed by how much her life had changed. "Hey," Jose said, joining her. "You okay?" "More than okay." Lisa turned to him. "A year ago, I was standing in a courthouse, signing divorce papers, with $47 to my name and a body that was trying to kill me. And now," she gestured around, "now I'm married to an incredible man. I have a thriving business. I'm healthy. I'm happy. I'm alive." Jose wrapped his arms around her from behind. "You know what the best part is?" "What?" "This is just the beginning." Lisa leaned back against him. "I love you. I love you too." They stood there, watching the waves, as their wedding guests celebrated behind them. And Lisa realized something. Sometimes you have to lose everything to find what really matters. Sometimes rock bottom is where you meet the person who'll help you climb back up. Sometimes the worst day of your life leads directly to the best. She'd collapsed on courthouse steps, divorced and broken. She'd been caught by a billionaire who saw her worth when she'd forgotten it herself. And now she was standing in the life she'd rebuilt, stronger and happier than she'd ever been. "What are you thinking about?" Jose asked. "About how grateful I am that I fell. Most people don't want to fall." "No," Lisa agreed. "But sometimes falling is the only way to learn who'll catch you." Jose turned her in his arms and kissed her deeply. "I'll always catch you," he promised. "I know," Lisa said. "And that's why I'm not afraid to fall anymore." They kissed again as the sun set over the Atlantic, married, happy, whole. And somewhere in Charleston, David Hahn saw the wedding photos on social media and realized he'd let go of the best thing that ever happened to him. But that was his story to regret. This was Lisa's story to celebrate. And it was just beginning. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, subscribe for more incredible love stories, and drop a comment telling me, do you believe in second chances at love? Have you ever had someone catch you when you were falling? Share your stories below. I read every single comment. See you in the next story. Red Heart.